The fluorescent lights of the diner buzzed overhead as Marcus Williams counted the crumpled bills in his wallet for the third time, his weathered hands trembling slightly. $5. That's all that stood between his 7-year-old daughter Emma and another night of going to bed hungry. He glanced across the cracked vinyl booth at her bright A's, still sparkling with the innocent trust that Daddy would somehow make everything okay, just like he always did. Marcus had been laid off from the construction company 3 weeks ago. The promised severance never came, and unemployment benefits were still tangled in red tape somewhere in the system. His wife Sarah had left them 2 years prior, unable to handle what she called the constant struggle of being poor. Since then, it had been just Marcus and Emma against the world, and most days, the world seemed to be winning. "Daddy, can I get the pancakes with the smiley face?" Emma asked, pointing to the colorful kids' menu with sticky fingers. The picture showed a stack of golden pancakes with whipped cream dots for eyes and a strawberry slice smiley priced at $8.99. Marcus felt his chest tighten. "How about we share some eggs instead, sweetheart? Protein is really good for growing girls like you." Emma's face fell slightly, but she nodded with the resilience that constantly amazed and broke her father's heart. "Okay, Daddy. Can we still get orange juice?" "We'll see, baby girl. We'll see." At the table directly behind them sat 26-year-old Daniel Chen, CEO of a tech startup that had just secured its third round of funding. He'd stopped at this modest diner on his way back from a late business dinner, craving something real after hours of discussing valuations and market penetration over expensive wine. His Tesla sat in the parking lot, and his Armani suit felt out of place among the tired waitresses and blue-collar workers grabbing late-night meals. Daniel hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but the conversation at the next table was impossible to ignore. He found himself stealing glances at the father and daughter, watching as the man's shoulders sagged under invisible weight while the little girl chattered about her day at school, oblivious to their dire situation. When the waitress approached Marcus's table, Daniel leaned closer despite himself. "What can I get you folks tonight?" The waitress, a kind-faced woman named Betty who looked like she'd been working these floors for decades, smiled warmly at Emma. "2 scrambled eggs, please, 1 plate, and just water to drink," Marcus said quietly, avoiding his daughter's eyes. "Daddy, what about you?" Emma asked, confused. "I ate earlier, remember?" "At work." The lie came easily, practiced from weeks of similar deceptions. Marcus had lost 15 pounds he couldn't afford to lose, but Emma's growing body needed every calorie more than his did. Daniel watched the waitress nod knowingly, her expression showing she'd witnessed this scene countless times before. As she walked away, he made a decision that would change 3 lives forever. "Excuse me," Daniel said, turning around in his booth. Both Marcus and Emma looked at him with surprise. "I couldn't help but notice your beautiful daughter. She has the same bright smile as my little sister did at that age." Marcus stiffened, immediately defensive. Years of struggling had taught him to be wary of strangers, especially well-dressed ones who might be judging their situation. "Can I help you with something?" Daniel felt the man's wariness and chose his words carefully. "Actually, I was hoping you could help me. I'm celebrating a business milestone tonight, and my tradition is to buy dinner for a family with a daughter around my sister's age. She passed away a few years ago, and it makes me feel close to her memory. Would you and Emma allow me to treat you to dinner? Whatever you'd like from the menu." The silence stretched between them, heavy with Marcus's pride warring against Emma's obvious excitement and his desperate love for her. Emma's eyes had lit up at the mention of ordering anything from the menu, and she bounced slightly in her seat. "Please, Daddy." The nice man misses his sister. "Maybe we could help him feel better." Marcus looked into his daughter's hopeful face, then at the young man whose eyes held genuine kindness, not pity. Something in Daniel's expression, perhaps the way his voice had caught when mentioning his sister, convinced Marcus this wasn't charity born of condescension. "That's very kind of you," Marcus said finally. "But we couldn't possibly." "Please," Daniel interrupted gently. "Emma reminds me so much of Lucy. She had the same curiosity, the same way of finding joy in everything." "It would mean a lot to me," Betty returned with the scrambled eggs, but Daniel was already signaling her over. "Actually, Betty, could we make a change?" "Emma, what would you like?" "And sir," he said, turning to Marcus, "I insist you order something substantial. You look like a man who works hard." What followed was 30 minutes that Emma would remember for the rest of her life. She ordered the smiley face pancakes, orange juice, and chocolate milk. Marcus, after gentle insistence from both Daniel and his daughter, ordered a full meal, his first complete dinner in weeks. Daniel shared stories about his sister Lucy, how she loved pancakes and always insisted on extra whipped cream. As they ate, the barriers slowly came down. Marcus learned that Daniel had grown up poor himself, raised by a single mother after his father abandoned them. Daniel's success had come through scholarships, 18-hour days, and the kind of determination born from knowing what it meant to have nothing. "My mom used to count change for groceries," Daniel said quietly, watching Emma carefully arrange her strawberry smile. "A stranger bought us dinner once when I was about Emma's age. I never forgot how it felt to see my mother's shoulders relax for the first time in months." When Betty brought the check, Daniel handed her his credit card before Marcus could object. But he wasn't finished. "Emma, would you like to help me with something?" Daniel asked. "I'm looking for someone reliable to help me with a project. Someone who knows about hard work and taking care of people who matter." He turned to Marcus. "My company is launching a community outreach program. We need someone to manage relationships with local families, help distribute resources, and coordinate volunteer efforts. It's full-time, with benefits and a salary that would let you and Emma live comfortably. Would you be interested?" Marcus stared, speechless. Emma clapped her hands together, understanding only that the nice man was offering Daddy a job, which meant they'd be okay. "I don't understand," Marcus whispered. "You don't even know me." "I know enough," Daniel said firmly. "I know you're willing to go hungry so your daughter can eat. I know you're teaching her kindness and gratitude despite your circumstances. I know she feels safe and loved, which means you're doing the most important job in the world remarkably well. The rest we can figure out together." 6 months later, Marcus stood in the same diner, no longer counting change but celebrating Emma's 8th birthday with a party that filled 3 booths. Daniel had become more than an employer, he was family. The outreach program had flourished under Marcus's management, helping dozens of families in similar situations. Betty approached their table with a birthday cake shaped like a smiley face, covered in 8 candles. As Emma made her wish and blew them out, Marcus caught Daniel's eye across the table. "What do you think she wished for?" Daniel asked. Marcus smiled, watching his daughter's face glow in the candlelight, surrounded by friends and full of help for tomorrow. "Probably the same thing I wish for every day now, that kindness like yours exists in the world when people need it most." Em opened her eyes and grinned. "I wish that everyone who's hungry gets to eat smiley face pancakes," she announced proudly. In that moment, surrounded by the warmth of chosen family and the soft buzz of diner conversation, 3 lives that had intersected by chance continued to interweave by choice. The $5 that had once represented desperation had been transformed into something infinitely more valuable, a proof that in a world that often felt cold and indifferent, human kindness remained the most powerful currency of all. Sometimes the most profound changes begin with the smallest gestures, and sometimes strangers become the family we never knew we needed. In the glow of birthday candles and the echo of a little girl's laughter, hope had found its way home.